morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time of day it is that you're watching this. This is Knitter's Life on my YouTube channel, Whiskyandwool. This is episode 5. My plan is to do Knitter's Life through this whole year and then, figure out a plan for 2022. Yes. Okay, so today, my name is Shannon, and I'm coming to you from northern New Jersey in the United States, where I live and work and craft. And this is a series about my knitting and crafting life, which is primarily knitting and spinning. And I have added a little Knitter's Life in the episode interspersed throughout the episode as well, just to kind of give you an idea of what I get up to in between episodes. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy that you have been able to take time to spend with me. If you're a new viewer, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, extra special welcome to you. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have some knitting or crafting and a beverage of your choice. I'm going to jump right into this week's content by beginning with the whiskey chat, like I always do. I will tell you where to skip to if you are not interested in the whiskey chat. This week I'm tasting a bottle that sells for $400, which I did not know in the whiskey chat. I did not know the price. It's pretty good. Anyway, go ahead and watch, and I will be here waiting.
Hi. I am going to do a little whiskey chat with you. This week's is a little bit different just because the whiskey that I'm tasting is not from a traditional distillery. So I don't have a lot to tell you about the distillery. What I can tell you briefly is about the company. So this is the bottle. I've already poured it out into my dram. This is Graciel 25-year from the Character of Islay Whiskey Company. It is a single malt whiskey. I think that says 48%, 46% alcohol. So the Character of Islay Whiskey Company is a fairly new company. I actually think it may have been established last year. I couldn't find a lot about it. They do have a blog. And what they do is they partner with distilleries who will then bottle and label for them, and then they do the marketing and all of that. So they have a 10-year, a 25-year, and a 33-year. And then I think they also do some limited releases. So this 25-year is a single malt, so it's from one place, and it's 25 years. So I could tell you what the Character of Whiskey tells about this particular whiskey. They say that it is matured for 25 years in American oak, and then it is bottled without any additional color or chill filtration. And apparently it already has won the gold medal award at the Scotch Whisky Masters in 2020. So that's interesting. What they say about the name is that when you say it out loud, it should sound a lot like the cheeky hooked nose sea pigs you see poking their heads out of the water on the shores of Islay. So Islay, if you're not sure where that is a island off the western coast of Scotland. I'll put a map on here so you can see that. It's a region that is well known for many distilleries. The Character of Whiskey Company will not tell us where. They say that is part of distilleries are not only Islay's only attraction, its wildlife and spectacular scenery also draw tourists in every year. But they say it's also important to maintain the mystery of who actually makes their whiskey. So I want to show it to you first. Yeah, there we go. It's really pale. So again, it's been all 25 years in American oak. I have put a little bit of water in there, which you might see around the side. I just put a couple drops. And let's see. I have both what the company says it should say, and I've got that pulled up, and I also have another expert. Here we go. Wow. Oh, this is like everything you want whiskey to be. It is just like fruit in a bottle. There's a little bit of a peaty. So Islay whiskeys are known for their peat. It is a very peaty region of peat flavors. So it's a peaty region of Scotland. It's also the 5th largest Scottish island. And what else can I tell you? I think I've talked about it before. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna taste this because this is just amazing, and I want to read what the taste says already. Okay, what am I smelling? Smoke, that peaty smells, fruit, a lot of fruit, like almost like a fruit bowl, but it's overwhelmingly smoky. Oh, like the creamiest piece of caramel, and then a little hint of spice at the back, like cinnamon or ginger even. Has definitely kind of a fruit cake. Very fruity. I couldn't say exactly what. I guess if I had to guess, I guess if I had to guess, yes, I should guess. Apples, I would say, and maybe even melon. Okay. Here's what they say. The company says I should be smelling. Sea salt, malty maturity, hints of rubber with smoldering ash. I can see that. There's like a rubbery smell. I think I was attributing that to peat. Slight shellfish sweetness among wild heather and oak, browning apples, nectarines, and lemon vanilla, butterscotch, crispy bacon, and jasmine tea. Oh my goodness, I wish I had more than just this little glass. Okay, the palate. There's a note of firewood with chewy vanilla toffees. I said caramel, but toffee, yeah. Apricot jam, juicy woody spices, and dried barley. Sour citrus and salinity percolate among these flavors while smoked almond and grass clippings reside pleasantly underneath. So where is the spice? Swirling complexity at the end. The finish leaves a juicy impression, which rises through the sweet smoke. Okay, let's see what the experts say. Hang on 1 minute, almost there. Okay. First couple sniffs on settled glass give gentle notes of lightly smoldering straw, a touch of farmyard hay, and licorice, touches of tropical fruit. Peat is vegetal and sweet, nose utterly enticing. That I would agree. Now that I've read about the rubber smell, I can't not smell that. I smell that. Which, it's not something that you think you'd want to drink, but it just kind of, that rubber smell is probably that rubbery. I remember I tasted a whiskey once that was said to taste like car upholstery, like the old school car upholstery, like vinyl, you know, which used to be in all the old cars. And that was just crazy. But you could smell it once you were told that it was there. It was like, oh yeah, that's what it is. Okay, on the palate, Tropical fruit juice comes first, with licorice wrapped in burnt ends and crispy bacon bits. The peat smoke twists amongst them, but stays as a part of the flavor, not the overpowering note, which works well. It's like a smoky cocktail or fancy restaurant dish. And then the finish, sweet, mouth-watering tropical fruits and licorice. I don't taste the licorice. I wouldn't say licorice. Oh my gosh, it's really yummy. I definitely taste more fruit than either of those are saying. I just click back over. Oh, sour citrus, like from the website. And then the apple and nectarine at the front. So for me, it's really got a very strong, it's the peat smell at the top. And then the center is the caramel with this fruit follow-up. And then in the end, there's that slight burn that you always get with a strong alcohol glass. But yeah, I would highly recommend. I don't know, actually I have not looked at the price, but I'll look for the price and put it on screen here when I'm doing editing, because I do not remember. I didn't remember to look at that, so I have no idea how much this is, but it seems like if it's around $100 is probably a really good value. It's very drinkable, especially if you like Islay. Some people, like, a whiskey isn't a whiskey unless it has that peaty, smoky taste to it. I know a lot of people who feel that way about whiskey, so if that's you, this is one that you would like. And I wouldn't be put off by the fact that there's this company that's fronting the distillery. I think that is an interesting way. I've seen that a couple times. I have a couple more in my queue to taste that are made in a similar way, that they're made by they're marketed by a company separate from the distillery. It's not a bad idea for distilleries that maybe, want to get their foot in different markets that they're not able to get into. So a company like the Character of Islay Whiskies could help them break into markets that they haven't been able to break into on their own. So it's kind of savvy, Kind of makes me wish I opened a whiskey company like that. Anyway, cheers. I hope you get a chance to enjoy a wee dram of your own, and I will see you next time.
Hi, welcome back. I have a finished object, if you didn't notice. I plowed through and finished the Like a Cloud by Joji Locatelli. This is a project that I worked on, or I cast on in, I think it was May 2019. So I knit a bit of it and put it down, picked it up, put it down. So it has been languishing in my whip's graveyard for at least a year, if not longer. And I have committed to taking one piece out of my graveyard as I finish one, a new whip goes into my queue to work on from the graveyard, so that I can clear that out. Currently there are 4 more projects sitting over there, 2 shawls, a sweater, and a pair of shorts, some knitted shorts. I'm going to take the knitted shorts next. I think that'll be the next thing to work on. The shawls are both shawls of my own design. One has been published for a couple years now, and the other one is a design that I never published. I didn't finish it, and that will be the last one I work on, I think. I thought the shawls would be good summer knitting, so I'm gonna, hang on to those for the summertime. So it should be pretty nice. Yeah, so finished Like a Cloud. It's so cozy. This yarn is Gotland by the Grey Sheep. I don't think I have the rest of the skein over here. It took about 3.5 skeins. I made a couple modifications. I modified the neck. I gave it some neck shaping, which Joji didn't do. She has you work the fronts directly from the center back, and I thought that was kind of interesting, but I thought maybe making a neck. I mean, I had done this part in 2019, so who knows what I was thinking then. That was 2 years ago. So I did that. Because I did that, I also felt like I should do a finish. So I did a little I-cord finish on the trim, on the front trim. I think it looks good. It's cozy. It's warm. My cat is obsessed with it. I don't know if it must be the wool. He, as I was knitting on it, he tried to get under it all the time. And I think I have a couple pictures of that. Yeah, and he just wants to, I should just throw it out on my couch and he would probably curl up on it. It would be like his favorite sleeping spot. So I do have a bit of the yarn left, about a half a skein. So at some point I might make him a blanket or something. I was actually thinking, speaking about cat blankets, sorry, I'm kind of getting off on a tangent here. Speaking of cat blankets, I thought about taking my swatches rather, as I have a huge bag of swatches, and stitching them together to make like a patchwork cat blanket. I think it could be pretty cool. I think I would do it two-sided so that the ends and back sides are, layered together. I think that would be cute. Sometime in the future I may do that. It's something that I've thought about, so I have to find strike the right moment with that. Okay, so that is what I'm wearing. Fine. This would actually look really great. It would be really nice. Pretty office wear, I think, were I going to the office. So if you're curious and maybe it's your first time here, I normally work on a university campus. I am a professor and administrator. I have a pretty big leadership role, which is really, I'm thinking about stepping back from it a bit. Anyway, there's a pandemic on, so we're not on campus. Some folks are going to campus, but it's a very, very small pool of people that are working on campus. So I'm sure the reason that I was attracted to this to begin with in 2019 was that it would look nice in the office. And my office isn't cold by any means, but it's cool in the winter, and I do have a nice big window in it. So, moving on to what Martha's wearing, I'm going to have you watch a little video clip to get you caught up to this project. I finished the front and the back of my HANA sweater. So these pads are 36 by 36, so you can see that this square-ish shape is quite big. I'm hoping a little that it will shrink as it dries. They're pretty wet right now. They are quite large. They're supposed to be 25, 25 across, and then the length is supposed to be 22 and a half. They are currently about 28 across. I think that's right, 28. And then about 25 in length. I don't mind the extra length, but the width is kind of scary. So I do hope those, that through the drawing process, it will get smaller. My plan right now, I started a sleeve. I still have one more week before I do my full podcast. My plan right now is I'm gonna stitch these together when they dry at the shoulder only. And then I may do some of the embroidery on the front. So you do an embroidery wherever you changed and added a new module. So you do it on the front and the back. So those two, that like T-shape line, I might do that part too. Just have to see how it goes. But I want to get the shoulders done so I can make sure I make the sleeves the right length. So that's my plan. Okay, this is HANA by Junko Okamoto. I am working on the sleeves. I have it here. I have done a little bit of work on the sleeves. So yeah, it has like this center, you work in pieces, it has this center cable panel here. And you slowly do decreases down the sides until it gets to the length that you need. So I have quite a ways to go. I probably have about 10, 12 inches to go. Yeah, so I did all the finishing work that I could on the fronts and back. So I blocked them and then did the embroideries and stuff, and contrary to the pattern, I did put the waffle cable stitch on top on both sides. Junko has you flip so this should have been the top on the front. I didn't want to do that. I know this is like kind of blending in with the wall. What can you do? Let me just tell you about the yarn real quick before I move on to other whips. The yarn is, I'll show you a full skein. The yarn is Daylights by Harrisville Tweed. It is a Cormo and other wool yarn. Has flecks of red. This color I chose is Bloodshot. It has flecks of red in it. Other colors in the series have different, they're primarily white, but they have different colors. I opened up the ball band and I didn't realize that there was this whole little cute thing in here about it. So it's this idea, dusting of color, and those are the color names so you could see. I think one's blue, one's green, one's purple, one's yellow, and brown. Caffeine is brown. Yeah, blue. Yeah, that's it. That's all the colors, I'm pretty sure. Yellow, red, blue, green, brown, purple. Beautiful yarn. I am interested in making something else in the future with this yarn because it's really, really pretty. It's similar to their nightshades. It's actually exactly the same, except nightshades is black, where this is white. So yeah, that is my whip. That is probably after this, finishing this was the next piece that I worked the most on. I really want to finish this soon because it's a cozy warm sweater and we're still having some snowy cool weather, but we are definitely transitioning into spring. There's a lot of snow on the ground. I showed you a clip at the beginning of the episode with probably what was our last snowstorm this winter. We'll still get snow occasionally, but it'll be the type of snow that comes in probably big flakes and then melts. So we'll get that. We could get that up through April, really, into May sometimes. Okay, another whip that I want to show you progress on. Oh, I forgot I did that. Is this one. This is the half wrap cowl, and last time I showed you I had not done this top of the triangle, so let me see if I can make this make sense. Okay, here we go. So I had knit all the way up to here, so all of this is what I've knit since. I had told you that I was worried I would run out of yarn so here's where I have wrapped the stitches. This is by Purl Soho, by the way, free pattern. I'm knitting this as part of a knit along with the Caddy Jacks Knits ladies. It is a year-long knit along from Rhinebeck 2020 through Rhinebeck 2021. This year's Rhinebeck. If we get to meet in person, we will do a meetup. If we don't get to meet in person, I'm sure there'll be some sort of Zoom thing or something like that. So with the half wrap cowl, what you do is knit two big triangles. So the idea is that it is two different colors. I decided to color block mine. So I'm using, because I wanted to use yarn I had, and it's a 6-skein project. So I chose to use this Loop Fiber Studio yarn called Yin-yang. So that is the label. In the fingering weight, I think it comes in fingering weight and worsted weight. I had this on hand because I was planning to knit a new shawl design, and I realized belatedly that this yarn would not be effective for the shawl design. It really needed more high contrast, and these are contrasting, but I wanted this would also blend if you like work them together. It would be pretty blendy, and I wanted something that was more contrast. So I realized this wouldn't work belatedly. But yeah, okay, so last time that I talked to you about this side of the triangle, I had said that I was worried I would run out of yarn, and that worry has not diminished much. I do think it's likely I'll run out of yarn. This is all I have left. It's about 30 grams, and I still have to wrap from here over. So this is about 100 stitches, and I'm not sure I'm going to make it. We'll see. If I don't, I do have a backup plan. The other side of the triangle will be bright colors. I have them right here. So this bright pink, this bright blue, and this bright yellow. So that'll be the color block. Oh, I just realized I have my cloud wool in there. Yeah, and I figured out rather belatedly that it will be a miter. It'll create a miter down the center. So you can see here the idea, the white, the black, the white, and then on the other side, pink, blue, yellow. I'm not sure I'm going to do them in that order. I think I had another order planned, but I just wanted to get those down. So I think that's the way it's going to end up looking, like a miter. Which means on one side you'll see all three of the bright colors folded over against this. I think that could be pretty cool. I'm excited to see how this ends up looking. I do find the knitting quite sloggy. It is just a straight up garter stitch, and it seems like it just is taking a long time to get through a skein, which, I mean, it's 400 yards, so of course it's going to take a while to get through the skein. So yeah, it is getting bigger. I really didn't think it was going to be very big until I got a little further, and then I was like, yeah, actually this is quite big. And garter does grow when you block it, so I imagine it'll be very big. Yeah, so that's the progress on that project. Moving along, I want to show you, this isn't really an update, I just need to show you this because it's just so pretty and I love it so much. I probably have knit about one row on this since I last showed you. I really concentrated a lot on finishing this and that. But this is the Watermelon sweater by Bohus Stickning. It is a pattern that was originally developed for hand knitters to make and then sell in Sweden. It's a really interesting story, which you can find if you're interested in learning more. You can find it in this book. This is the only place the pattern is printed. I've had a lot of questions about where to find the pattern and stuff, but this is the only place you can get the pattern. And I would say there's probably about 20 or so colorwork patterns. The thing with this colorwork, this is not for the colorwork newbies, I would say. You are knitting most often with 3 strands of color, and you are also doing some purl stitches. You can see some purl bumps, which I find most annoying. I don't mind holding 3 colors, but doing the purl bumps and trying to create floats and wrap your yarn is pretty challenging, because with purl your yarn is in front of the work, where with knits it's in back, and it makes it easier to just like catch the yarn that you're not working with. Last time I spoke, I don't even actually have the tool. I gotta go get it. Last time I spoke about this in episode 4, I was saying that process of holding 3 colors and purling was a little tedious. So I a couple people commented about, this tool. So I went ahead and purchased it. This is it's a ring that slides on your index finger, and then you can hold a strand in each. I haven't knit very much on this, and I'm knitting just a 2-color, which is easy. So I will, for next episode, or soon, an episode soon, I will film me using this tool so you can see the way that, once I've kind of gotten used to it. So yeah, I'm interested to see what this tool will do for me with knitting this sweater. I'm about halfway, a little past halfway in the yoke, and then once you're done with the yoke, that's it. There's no other color work on the sweater, so it'll zoom along after that, I assume. Yeah. Okay, so I have a couple new things I want to show you, some new cast-ons. So I'm going to have you go ahead and watch some clips.
Hi, I have a new cast-on. I decided to cast on something for my birthday. So my birthday is February 23rd, which was yesterday. So so here's the story with why I chose this. This is Qing Fibre, cashmere, 100% cashmere, fingering weight cashmere. It's her base called Vera. What I didn't pay attention to when I bought it is that it is supreme fluffy cashmere. So it is really fluffy. These are swatched and blocked swatches. So you can see the texture there. It is really fuzzy, but it is so soft. The story with this is that I bought this yarn. This is the color Heather. So it's a beautiful, deep, dusty rose color. I bought this last year for my birthday as a treat to me for my birthday, and I was planning on making a rye layering tea, which I have now cast on this year. I never got around to making it because when I ordered this yarn, the Vera, what I received was the Veranita, which is a lace weight cashmere silk blend. So I had to exchange the Veranita for the Vera, and Qing just took a really long time. The shipping is long anyway because it comes from UK, and takes like probably 3 weeks, I think, at best. So I had ordered it right around my birthday. I got it like in middle of March. It was the wrong yarn. I had to ship it back. They had to receive the wrong yarn to ship me out the right yarn. All that took till probably close to the end of April before I got the yarn. And by then it was a little too warm to be knitting a fuzzy yarn. Because in the humidity that we have here in the Northeast where I live, the fuzzy yarns will really stick to your fingers as you're trying to, control your gauge and slide the yarn through your fingers. So anyway, I decided that this would be an appropriate thing to cast on this year, because why not? This is beautiful cashmere yarn that I have 8 skeins of to cast on this year. So I'm doing a 2x2 rib pattern. Rye layering tea lets you choose whatever rib pattern you want, or you can even do stockinette if you want. I decided that I would do it in a 2x2 rib. I went down a needle size because I didn't like the fabric, the sheerness of the fabric that I got on the US size 5. So I went with a US size 4. And then I'm just knitting a size bigger to get to the size that I want. So I think I'm getting about 21.5 stitches per inch, and the pattern calls for 20. I loved the idea of a birthday cast on, and I just needed to do it, and I thought this was appropriate. And this gets me going on this. This was a project that I've been planning for over a year, or for a year. So it's probably a good choice for a birthday cast on.
Okay, and here's all the progress I have made on the rye layering tea. This yarn is so soft and squishy and so beautiful. I hope I have done okay in matching the yarn with the pattern. I think it being rib is fine. Yeah, I just hope it'll block out kind of, much more expansive than it's looking right here, I think. At least if my swatches are any indication. So I think it'll be a nice sweater. I am knitting it a size larger than my previous patterns or my previous knits have been, because I do want it to be a little more drapey, which I think naturally the cashmere will drape. So yeah, so I haven't made a huge amount of progress on this, but yeah, it was fun to do a birthday cast on. I have another thing to show you. I'm going to let you watch that clip now. Remember these? So these are hand spun yarns that I made earlier in January. Did I do them in January? Yeah, I must have, because these are from my advent calendar, my 12-day, which was a gradient. They're really, really pretty. I love them. I've been thinking a lot about what to make with them, and I think what I want to try to do is make a weekender by Andrea Mowry. I have made one before, and I gifted it to my daughter-in-law, but I wanted to make one for myself out of my own handspun, and I have a handspun completely made, a sweater's quantity, and put aside and earmarked for that pattern. But I started to think that maybe this yarn would be beautiful in it. So maybe like starting with this down at the bottom. So the purple is the dark color, and then it would go in, and then this pink is supposed to match up with this pink here, and then it goes all the way into like a peachy color, golden peachy color, and then that peachy color matches up with this pinky peachy color here, and then it goes into a mint. Yeah, so all that. So I thought what I would do, because I was really trying to figure out what to do about how to color manage the yarn in a way that it makes sense for that pattern. Because the yarn is going to create a natural gradient, which will be gorgeous. But then what happens with the sleeves? So I think I was thinking a lot about it, and I think I'd be okay with the bottom being the darkest purpley pink here, and then knitting my way through this skein and this skein for the body, and then maybe the sleeves end up being this skein. I think that would be okay. So I decided that probably it's best if I draw myself a picture, illustrate it. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make a rough of the weekender, and then sort of mock up the way I think the yarn is going to color in there. So yeah, so stay tuned. isn't that exciting? I realized after I filmed my last episode that I hadn't been making anything with my hand spun yarn. And I need to, like, I have so much of it. I have a lot of single skeins, and I did see a pattern for single skeins, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. I just wanted to show you that I had to cast this on. I just had to cast on the Weekender Light out of handspun. So this is the back knit trim, and then this is the front trim. This is how they'll lay together. I'm almost done with the trim, and then I can start working my way up the body. I'm very excited about this. The colors are just so beautiful. I think it's going to make a really pretty sunset, sort of twilight fade, but we'll see. And I do have this sketch just to show you again. I'm not clear that it's going to be exactly like that, but it just gave me an idea. So I realized that like all three of those skeins have a lot of pink in them. So pink is sort of this color that goes through all of them, though they're shading off of different things. Little bit worried that I might run out of yarn, but I do have a skein of hand spun from Le Petite Potions, like it's Fibre from Le Petite Potions from my 2019 calendar that will go really well with this green to pink fade. It's kind of a lighter version of these two. So if I run short, I'll just grab that skein, and that'll finish up my sleeves. And I think when I get to the sleeves, what I will do is knit them two at a time so that I get a pretty good, so that they kind of match each other. Like I'll probably, whatever yarn is left, I will divide in two. Because like if you can see on the skein, there is some color. So it goes from green to pink and back to green to pink. So I'll be able to divide the skein out and then knit the sleeves two at a time to get more. So at least the sleeves semi-match each other instead of like being two different colors. Because if I end up running out of yarn, that'll be weird if there's like a completely different skein on one sleeve. Yeah, and that probably won't happen. All right, I'm going to move on. I have a little bit of spinning to show you. So let me show you that. So I've been working on this John Arbin yarn from, this John Arbin fiber called Viola, the Viola base, which they sell made into yarn as a DK weight. I just wanted to spin, and they've had a couple sales since I started learning how to spin, and I have been hoarding the fiber, so this was like probably a good time to make to spin this yarn. This particular one is 100% Falkland Merino. So this is, I have 4 bobbins done so far of this. So these are just the single ply. When I get all 6, so I have 300 grams, I divided the 300 grams into 50 gram piles, and each bobbin then has a 50 gram amount on them. After I get all 6 bobbins done, I will ply them, so I'll end up with 3 skeins that will be about 100 grams a piece and should be around, so it seems to be spinning into, I think I'll end up with a fingering weight to maybe, heavy fingering, light to heavy fingering weight yarn when I'm done spinning it, and it'll be a sweater's quantity of this gorgeous English mustard color that I will then put away until inspiration strikes. Yeah. So that is what has been happening in spinning. So next time I should have at least 1 skein to show, if not more. I really do want to spin some of the fiber that I've been hanging on to. I have stopped myself from buying fiber at least 5 times since I last spoke with you. It's, it's just tempting, to when you see beautiful fiber, especially if you think, if yarn or fiber, if you see it and you're just like, I don't know when I'll be able to get this again, so let me just get it now. But in the meantime, I do need to knit more with my hand spun. I just need to knit more with my stash in general. So I've been working away. I forgot to mention too, the red wool that you see there is hand spun. This is from Spin City, Punjabi fiber that I hand spun and made into I used it as an accent in a sweater last year. I think I knit it last year. And this is just what's left over. It's about a 50 gram skein, so it's plenty to do the accenting and stuff on this sweater.
I got a handful of acquisitions this past couple weeks. So first off, my Fibre Club from Into the World came, and this is called Plausible Implausibility. It is 100% Porth. So you can see that it is from February 2021, and it's so pretty. I'm excited to spin this, especially after I spun January's. January's was so beautiful. I also got a mini set. This is from Teeny Button Studio. She was doing a mystery mini set giveaway, or not giveaway, but sale to help the food banks in Texas who were stretched very thin while Texas had the unexpected snowfall a couple weeks ago. So yeah, so I purchased this. Had no idea what colors I was getting. It was this mystery set, but I love that it's all tonals, because I have a lot of speckled minis, not very many tonals. Speaking of speckled minis, I also impulse bought this 6 skein set of inspired by speckled eggs for Easter time. I saw this on Instagram. It's by Molly Klein Designs. I could not stop obsessing about it after I saw it. I just was like, I need to have it. It's rainbow, it's speckles, I need to have it. So I went ahead and purchased it, and I actually got the last set. I don't know if she's planning to make more. I would assume so. Easter's still a little ways away. So yeah, again, that is Molly Klein Designs, also Sweet Tea Yarns. So it's a pretty substantial amount of yarn. I imagine this is destined to be something for my granddaughter. Not sure though. Last, I have been obsessing again about this sort of ballet slipper pink, pale, barely there pink color. And I was just looking at yarn like you do and saw this from Spun Right Round. I have not bought any Spun Right Round yarn in a long time, not for any reason other than I just have been busy buying other things. But she was actually the very first indie dyer whose yarn who had a club that I subscribed to. So I subscribed to a sock yarn club with her. And yeah, that was how I got my start with indie dyed yarns. That was back in 2016. Anyway, I fell in love with this. This apparently is based on an old color. It's called Fierce Poodles. Fierce Poodles. It has these beautiful hot pink speckles, black speckles, and then these golden green speckles in it too. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. This will just go in my stash and be yet another sweaters quantity for me. But as I was, after it arrived and as I was sitting here thinking about it, I was thinking that, I mean, this is classic, right? Putting that pale pink with a gold. I was thinking that this beautiful spin cycle yarn that I have, this is a mistake skein. So this is what they call ish tints. I got this from Starlight Knitting Society at least about a year ago, sometime after the pandemic started, but not this year. Anyway, I was thinking that could be cool as a color work with this yarn, but I also know the dangers of working a speckled yarn in color work. It is speckled, but it's not. I'll have to swatch it. I'll have to cake it and swatch it before I go down that path, but that is, something that I've just been toying with. Anyway, that is my stash acquisitions for this week.
So I'm trying to do this in order of how I use products, like what products I'm using for my skincare. So I'm doing skincare right now, and when I'm done with skincare, I'll move on to some other forms of self-care. I have been hoarding a few clips of other things that I do self-care wise, so I'll be able to integrate those in as the year progresses. So today I wanted to talk to you about eye cream, and I think what I'm trying to do with these is just share with you what I use. I'm not necessarily there's no paid promotion here. It's just me telling you as a friend, like what I use and gathering, back from you what you use and what products you like. So this week I'm going to talk about eye cream. So I just grabbed my little container that I keep my eye treatments in. It's kind of apropos that I talk about this because I have had an issue this past week with one of my eyes. I ended up getting a little bit of a eye sty on one of my eyes, and the treatment for eye styes, if you ever end up with one, is my doctor has provided me with treatment, is to wash your eye 2 or 3 times a day with baby shampoo, and because the soap will start to break down the oil. You get a sty from oil buildup in one of the pores, a pore along your eyelid gets clogged by it's like similar to pores on your face. Like it's a clogged pore essentially. So to unclog it, you need to use warm compresses and soap. So soap will break down the oils that are clogging the pore, and then the pore can drain and function normally as it's supposed to. I don't know how you get them. I guess you get them from I guess it's a hygiene thing, right? I assume that's it, but I think they can just sometimes happen. I have been experiencing lots of congestion, not COVID related, just related more to my thyroid condition. So I have a thyroid condition and one of the side effects of having a thyroid condition is that you can have frequent congestion. So I was experiencing a congestion flare-up about 10 days ago, and I think part of that just ended up meaning that I ended up with a little bit of clogging of all of my, a sluggishness with all of the flow of, fluid, I guess, in my face and around my sinuses. So it somehow just created this flare-up in my eye. All right. My point of telling you all of that is just to say that I've been experiencing a lot that treatment, the soap, the baby shampoo, and warm compresses is very, very drying to the skin around my eye. So I've been very intently trying to soothe the skin around my eye because it becomes irritated from that treatment. And the treatment is essential. It takes about 2 or 3 days of treatment for the pore to reopen and drain properly and function properly. It's functioning properly, but now I'm dealing with the after effects of the treatment itself, the very, very drying baby shampoo and the very drying hot heat that I have been putting to, pressing on my eye to clear it up. So I've been using, as you probably know from episode 1, if you've watched it, a lot of Preparation H, because that is a really good eye cream. It's a tip I learned from Donatella Versace, and I talked about this in episode 1. So this is what I reach for when I have a lot of dryness and irritation around my eye. So I will put it on in the evening before I go to bed, and then again, apply it throughout the day as needed. So I have been using that, but normally my normal reach for eye cream is I use Kiehl's product. So I really like the men's line eye care, which is called Eye Fuel. So I use that, and I have also been using my normal reach for also from Kiehl's is this product called so this creamy eye treatment with avocado. I really like it. It's very moisturizing. It's a little bit like my only complaint about it is that it doesn't soak in very well, but it is really soothing. So I find, like, for me, it's really important to use soothing creams around my face. One of the products that I don't use very much is this one, and this is something that it took me a while to figure out. So this is another Kiehl's product that, so it's supposed to be wrinkle reducing eye cream, but it has retin A in it. And it took me a while to figure this out, and maybe you've already figured it out, that if you're using a retin A product, you only use one retin A product. Using multiple retin A products is like a recipe for skin irritation. So I use Differin. I've talked about that before. This Differin gel, which is I think it's 0.1% adapalene gel, which is here in the U.S., that was a prescriptions only product that now can be bought over the counter. So it's the strongest known retin A product that you can get without needing a prescription. And it was developed to take care of acne, but it turns out that it also helps with reducing fine lines and such. So I use it for acne control, because I have talked about this before too. I have some pores that can become enlarged, and Differin really helps keep them small. So because I use that very strong product once a day, I don't use any other retin A products. I don't use any other products with retin A in it. So you may find that maybe you have found a different method of using whatever products that you like. And there's like different ways that you can get retin A, and certainly like a retin A eye cream is one way to do it. But this, I find generally when I occasionally will put this on, but generally when I put it on, I find it kind of like heightens the irritation around my eye. So I don't use it very much, but I do have it. Mostly I reach for one of these two. The Eye Fuel I find soaks in a little better than the avocado cream. But what you'll see too when I show you face creams in a couple weeks, they all have no retin-A. I use very simple face creams, very simple formulas of face cream. So yeah, that is my eye care segment, and seemed very apropos for this week, given the issue and irritation that I had around my eye. I still have a little redness from the process of treating the eye sty, and a little bit of swelling too from that, but it'll tamp down in the next few days, I'd say. So thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate each and every one of you who come back and subscribe and like the video. It really helps me beat the YouTube algorithm and get in front of more people who maybe haven't had an opportunity to discover me yet. So yeah, I appreciate you, and I hope you are safe and well, and I hope you're not going too crazy during these pandemic times. Vaccinations are happening, and hopefully we can get, be a little more social in the future. We can only see. But in the meantime, I'll be here crafting away and sharing with you every other week what is happening here in my little corner of the knitting and crafting world. See you next time. Bye.